What it is, what's happening YouTube? It's your boy Srtfied. I'm back with another banger for you guys. Y'all already know what it is. What I always tell you guys, if you're not a subscriber to this channel yet, make sure you smash that subscribe button. You know why? Because it don't cost me nothing. It don't cost you nothing. Just click that red button. It's free to show support, you guys. But today I got an exciting video for you guys. If you guys own a Hemi, any Hemi, y'all already know that Hemis run hot. And heat is a performance robber. It kills performance in these Hemis. So today I'm going to install this 180-degree thermostat, and hope you guys enjoy, get some knowledge. And if you guys don't know how to install one of those, I hope by the end of this video you do. So let's go. So one of the biggest things that I highly recommend you guys do if you guys want to do this modification yourself is make sure that the car is completely cooled down, or it has sat for at least, I'm gonna say 4 to 5 hours before you attempt to do this, because you are dealing with engine coolant, and engine coolant can burn your hands severely, or your skin in general. All right, so one of the biggest things that you will need is some antifreeze, MOPAR antifreeze coolant. This is the coolant that is recommended from MOPAR for your car. So make sure you go to your MOPAR dealer and give them your VIN number, and they should be able to give you the proper coolant that you will need for this job. All right, and this is not a 50-50 mix. This is a concentrated mix, so you will need to mix this 50-50 with some distilled water, which you can purchase at just about any store. All right, you will also need a small funnel. I mean, you don't necessarily need this, but to avoid spills and just to make sure that everything goes into the coolant reservoir and not all over your engine bay, I definitely recommend a funnel. All right, also you may or may not need this, but it helps. I would get a flathead screwdriver just to kind of help get the old thermostat off, because sometimes the seal of the thermostat can stick. So a flathead screwdriver will help, and also a little bag to catch any residual fluid that comes out of the coolant hose. That being said, this is the 180-degree thermostat that I chose to go with, which is actually the cheapest that you will find. You can get this through Amazon. This is the part number right here. There are other brands out here, but for those that know or have been following me on my channel for a while will know that I used to have a 2013 SRT8, which was the second year that they actually, ever since the 392 was released in the MOPAR line, the 2013 was the second year. And when I ended up getting a 180-degree thermostat in that one, I ended up going with the Moto brand, and that one actually failed on me. I think within like 3 or 4 months of having it, that thermostat failed on me. So I needed one in a hurry. I did not want to wait, so I ended up ordering this through Amazon, and I've never had an issue. Never had an issue. So I'm not too familiar with the Stant brand. I'm not sure if that's a good brand, bad brand, or whatnot. All I know is that this one was extremely cheap, and I never had an issue with it. So that's the brand that I'm going with on this charger. All right, the last thing that you will need, you don't have to go as fancy as this or even fancier than this. This is actually a nice little tool set to have. This thing literally has just about everything that you will need for quick and simple jobs. But what you'll need is a 13mm socket, a ratchet. I generally get a couple of extensions, just because, especially if you're working with a 392 where you installed a catch can, trying to get into the bolts right here, you have plenty of room to ratchet. All right, but for those that don't know, this is your water pump for your 392, and your thermostat is literally right under here. So there's only 2 bolts. It's this one and that one, and you'll be able to take the hose, pull it back, and then pull the thermostat out. That's why I recommend you guys get a bag to kind of put under here to catch any residual fluid that may come out when you change out the thermostat. but it's a real simple job, And this is also why I recommend you guys make sure that the car is cool. I initially was gonna do this last night. Right now it's around 7 o'clock in the morning. I was gonna do this last night, but my car only sat for about 2 hours, and when I came out here and I touched this hose, it was pretty hot, so I did not want to take a chance at burning myself changing this thermostat. But right now it's nice and cool, so we're gonna get this job going, and should be a pretty quick, shouldn't take no longer than 10 minutes at most. So real quick before we get this thing installed, I'm gonna unbox this thing for you guys. This is what it looks like. As you guys, I don't know if it's printed on here. I know some thermostats have the actual temperature range printed on here, but this one does not, from what I can see. I'm really trying to find it right now. Well, anyways, it is a 180-degree thermostat. but I'm gonna give you guys a before and after once we get this thing installed, to show you guys how much of a difference this does make. All right, let's get this install going. So I got the bolts out. This should let you know that this thing is sealed in pretty good. Once I got the bolts out, there's no drippage yet. So this thing is actually sealed up in there pretty good. One thing to note before you actually put this thing in there, this little valve right here, it looks like almost like an air release valve. Make sure when you install this, that valve is up top. All right, you do not want it on the bottom, because you will have issues with your car potentially overheating, or you'll see this thing bubbling, or yeah, you will have issues. So make sure that you install this little valve up top. Excuse the fact that I don't know the correct terms for this for anybody that's an auto mechanic watching this right now, but yeah, make sure you install this up top, just so if there's any air in the system, even though we're gonna bleed the air out anyways, I'm gonna fill up some more coolant. As you guys can see, the coolant is pretty low, but yeah, just make sure this gets put in just like this, and that this is up top. So I just pulled the hose off, and as you guys can see, as I was explaining, this is the factory one. I still have the new one sitting right here. The valve, the little piece right here is up top. So make sure that you do the same thing. But once you pull this out, there will be more coolant fluid that comes out. As you guys can see, some coolant has already dripped out from the hose. Made a small mess in here, nothing too crazy, but as y'all can see, it's a little bit on the bottom of the pan. But yeah, once I pull this out, there's gonna be a lot of coolant that comes out, so I'm gonna be working pretty quick to try to get this done. And just like that, the new one is in. This is the old one right here. It was installed. Quite a bit of coolant that came out. Here, actually show you guys after I put the hose on how much coolant that I actually lost. And just like that, it is done. Everything is back in there. I did have my GoPro set up, so you probably seen it from a different angle as well while you during the process that I was doing it. But this process literally took 10 minutes. It was 9 minutes and 32 seconds on my GoPro from start to finish. So 10 minutes, that should let you know how quick this process was. One thing that I also want to note, even though I did not make a lot of mess with the bag setup, but you get a couple of drops on the belt, so make sure you guys wipe that stuff off before you start your car up, because you don't want that stuff slinging around in your engine bay. But that is nothing compared to the amount of fluid that you could have had all in your engine bay. So this was the amount that came out. And the beauty of using a bag like this, you can reuse this stuff in your coolant. It's not, you know, contaminated, doesn't have any, it looks actually pretty good. You can either choose to put it back in there, or you can do what I do and get some more MOPAR fluid and just fill it up with fresh fluid. All right, so I just filled up the coolant tank reservoir with half of the MOPAR fluid and half of the distilled water, and cleaned up my little mess that I had on the hose and stuff. So yeah, we'll get this thing started up and make sure that it runs fine with no issues. Monitor this and make sure that once the car warms up that we're not getting any temperature spikes. All right, so we are finally up to operating temperature. It took about, I must say, about 10 minutes to get there. The car was sitting all night, so yeah, it took about 10 minutes to get there. But as you can see, the car is not getting hotter than around 181. See, it's dropping now. So the thermostat is doing its job. It's definitely doing its job. So I'm not having any spike issues. So the only thing I gotta check for now is the actual hoses and everything. Make sure I don't have any leaks. So let's actually go out here. Especially since we know you actually want to wait till the coolant starts to run through the system and make sure you don't have any leaks in this area. So everything looks good. All right, so I just got done doing my little test drive. You definitely want to test drive your car after you do a coolant thermostat, just because your car idling, yeah, you can, if you have issues while it's idling, then obviously you want to double check everything, make sure you don't have any leaks or anything like that. But you definitely want to, you know, test drive your car and drive it around the block. And on top of that, I wanted to give you guys a before and after, because a couple of days ago I did shoot a video. I tried to replicate the same scenario. I was doing around 70 miles an hour on the first go around. It was around 80 degrees outside. And as you guys can see, the temperatures fluctuated between 197 and 199, cruising on the highway. Today, after install, the only difference is it was a little bit warmer out, but that should also show you that, you know, that this coolant thermostat actually, this 180 degree thermostat works. So the highest I was able to see cruising on the highway was around 185. In stop and go traffic, I'm sitting in traffic right now, and right now I'm seeing around 195, 197. So I think with the old thermostat, I did not get a before video on that, but I think with the old thermostat I was seeing around 209s, 210s in stop and go traffic. So it's quite a bit of difference, man. I know one of the biggest questions is, do you need a tune to run a 180 degree thermostat? And the answer is no. However, a tune will optimize that 180 degree thermostat, because with the tune you can change your fan settings to accommodate, yeah, it's, I don't know the actual technicalities of it, but you can benefit, your engine will benefit more after a tune because you can change your fan settings. So it kind of coincides with each other, because right now the fan settings are set to the OEM settings, so the fans won't kick on until the coolant reaches a specific temperature that it was optimized for with the factory thermostat. So you can change all that with a tune. Also, another question is, do you get a check engine light with a thermostat? And the answer is, and that's because I've had real world experience with these thermostats, is yes. But you only get a check engine light if you're living in colder climates,
or on days, and I've only gotten it when in Florida in the wintry months. Granted, it doesn't get that cold in Florida, but at times it does get into the mid to high 30s in the morning times, in the winter times. And generally, anytime it was below, I'm gonna say 50 or 40 degrees outside on a morning cold start, I used to get a check engine light, and that's I can't remember the actual code, but it's pretty much saying the engine operating temperature is not within specified ranges. So pretty much what the check engine light comes from is when your car warms up, your car generally knows how long it takes to reach its operating temperature. When it's extremely cold outside, those operating temperatures, it takes a little bit longer to reach that. However, with a 180-degree thermostat, it takes even longer to get to that. So generally you'll get a check engine light for that, but it's not an actual issue. It's just the fact that your car is not tuned for it, and that's a code that needs to be read out once you do get tuned for it, because you will always pop that check engine light no matter what with a 180-degree thermostat. But it does not cause an issue. If you live in warmer climates, or even in the spring to fall season in the hotter areas, such in southern climate, you're not going to get a check engine light. You're not going to have any issues. Your car runs just fine. But that is something to think about, that you do get a check engine light if you live in colder climates. And that's, like I said, that's something that can be easily cleared out. As far as performance increase, will you notice a performance increase? Who knows? I mean, I did not do a before dyno. I'm not going that far to try to do a before and after dyno, but we all know heat kills power. So with having a cooler running engine, I will assume that yes, you do gain a little bit of power by having a cooler running engine. A lot of it has to do with your intake air temperatures, but that's a whole different topic. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys got some knowledge out of this. I know there's a couple of videos on YouTube on how to install 180-degree thermostats. So if you've come across this video, I hope you got some knowledge and that you're able to do it yourself. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you hit me in the comment section below, or follow me and DM me on Instagram. Yeah, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. So, but that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and hit all on that notification bell, so you don't miss any bangers I got coming up for you guys in the future. I already said follow me on Instagram, but hashtag salute and Srtfied drip on all your pictures and videos to show support to the channel. And until next time, YouTube, I hope y'all have a good day.